Welcome to the InStory show. I'm Devorah Spilman, your host, and our theme is what does it mean to expand into a new story? And how do you come out of hiding and dare to be seen for who you really are by saying yes to your soul and telling your story? Today, I'm thrilled to welcome InStory expert Kay Ford Johnsen. Hi, Kay.
Hello, Devorah. It's good to be with you.
So before we dive in, I'm going to read a little bit about you. Kay is a meditation teacher on Insight Timer, a writer, group facilitator, and speaker. She has created journaling and self-care workshops, is a certified instructor of the Center for Journal Therapy's Journal to Self workshop, and is a member of the International Association for Journal Writing. She is studying for a ministerial degree from International Metaphysical Ministries. All right, so I'm going to ask you the same question I have asked everyone, which is what does it mean to you to expand into a new story?
Okay. I will tell you, I was aware of the theme of this summit, so I had thought about it, and some of my best things comes out in writing. So I will read the
Read it away.
I will read the answer that came to me immediately.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, expanding into a new story means opening your heart and soul. Open the gates. A huge part of this is accomplished by recognizing your worth in the world. You must know that you are enough, that you have a unique gift to give that no one else has. There is no need to fear. Everything is gained by stepping into the unknown. Nothing is served by staying in the cocoon. You are ready to emerge. Spread your wings and fly.
That's so beautiful. I don't really think about it, but there's no way to expand into a new story and have it be the one you already know.
Well, you can't. You can't. And we get scared. That cocoon is so comfy.
Right. I mean, I love the metaphor of the caterpillar to the chrysalis to the butterfly, and I think that it's such a profound metaphor because the butterfly is a completely new story to the
Hmm.
caterpillar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, beautiful. All right. Well, I would love for you to tell us a little bit of your in-story story. Um, I love for the women who are in story to share how this has made a difference on their journey. And Kay is also now in my leadership team. So tell us a little bit about how you got started and where it's led you.
Well, I did a lot of work in a very small scale, with workshops and things like that, but it was very small. And in a way, the pandemic opened doors for me because, well, I discovered Zoom,
Mhm.
and that leads up to InStory. Well, I made friends all over the world, including in InStory. And I got an email from you. I was on your email list because I think I'd heard you in someone else's summit, I think. And so I responded to the email, had a wonderful one-on-one conversation with you, which you offer. And you told me about InStory. And Soul Story didn't exist yet. Soul Story is a wonderful thing. But well, I'm a rare person, so I got to think about it. But I am the rare person who said, no, I've got to do this. And I called you back or texted or emailed or whatever and said, no, I've got to do this. And it has opened up the world for me. I am now learning. I've gotten to know so many beautiful people through working with you. And I've also developed my own work, which was kind of stuck in the mud when everybody was sitting in their own house and it had been small to begin with. So now it's open wide and I'm doing my own work and loving the work with you and the people I'm getting to know and work with in your groups. So,
Right. And one of the things that happened is when Kay joined very bravely, all I had was my year program, the In Story Way year. And, um, and I feel like your whole message about being able to, you know, feel that you're worthy and valuable and going into the unknown, I feel like you had to, maybe you could say a little bit, but how did you walk yourself through I have to think about it to I'm saying yes. How did you do that? Because I'll tell you the truth. Most people who say to me, I have to think about it, they think about it and they think themselves back into, I can't do this.
Yeah, I think that's a quirk of mine, and I think it's a valuable quirk.
Yes.
Genuinely think about it if you're going to do that. But I mean, jump right in too. If you're that close, jump in. But I just realized I'm not going anywhere. If I don't jump in, I'm stuck.
Mhm.
I'm staying right where I am. I mean, I contacted other beautiful groups and, and I'm still with them and they're great, but they weren't moving me forward in the same way.
Mhm.
If
What's
you
the
see the
difference,
wall.
do you think? What do you think is the difference?
I think it's more support in progressing instead of just sharing, which is a wonderful thing, sharing your feelings and all of that. And we do that. And it's a beautifully supportive group all the way through from Soul Story and InStory. And anyone who's listening to all of this and meeting people knows it's a beautiful supportive group. And it's a group that is designed to move you ahead, to move out into the world, not just stay there in the group. That's another cozy place to be. Yeah.
Right, I
But
make you do things like this, like be interviewed on the show, right?
exactly, exactly. We have the cozy parts, but then no, and that's not enough. You need to get out there, share with other people, share what you have with other people, and help them share what they have to give
Right,
by
right.
connecting, because it's a gift that
Yeah.
you give to others too.
Right, right. I think that's a big part of what's happening is that we are not being let off the hook, like this feeling like I need to do my work so that because I know I'm supposed to help others.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a huge thing. And everybody has a different way of doing that.
Right,
No
right,
two of us are exactly alike. You're wonderful. I'm not going to be you because we already have Devorah Spilman.
right,
We already have her. So I need to
right,
be Kay Ford Johnsen.
right,
And we have similarities, but we're different people and we're going to give in a different way.
right, right, right. And so just one more thing, because the other about in story and soul story course that you help that you're a part of leadership in like that, the fact that you moved from the year of being an in-story for to me ask you, can you be in leadership is also part of your stepping into that leadership quality. So maybe you could say a little bit about leading in the Soul Story course and then a little bit of how that's led to your creating your own work.
Yeah, well, leading in the Soul Story course is just amazing. And I've been able to greet so many women with so much uncertainty about what they're going to do. Oh, should I be here? Do I have a story? Can I tell a story? I don't know, because maybe they listened to one of your recitals from a previous soul story, and they were so impressed by what the women did. And they're feeling like, I don't know if I can do that. And then we go through the 8 weeks and they tell their stories. And
Right. It's
we
amazing,
check
right?
to do
I
it.
know.
Well, and I've stepped into, I have people test their stories with me. And I always go in and go, what if I have nothing to say? I go through my doubts. I have something. And I have had something to say to each of them. But their stories are so beautiful while they're being so uncertain and unsure of themselves to begin with. They come out with stories that enrich everybody who comes to that recital,
Right. I know.
certainly including me.
Right.
Learn so much from them.
Right. Right. Yeah. It is really always so moving to see how honestly we really are so moved by each other's stories. Because you know how I ask people, have you ever been moved by someone's story? And everyone says yes, right? And then I ask, will people be moved by your story? And most people just go quiet. And then by the time the recital comes out, you cannot say no to that question because we all see it
No.
and they come to the people in leadership like, hey, and you guys mentor them through helping create create their story that they're going to tell. And it's so moving.
Well, and I've encountered it many times when I facilitated journaling workshops.
Hmm.
Well, because in a sense they're telling the story. They're right. Well, journaling is kind of a different thing because you don't need to share. You can say really private things in your journal. No, you don't have to tell us about it. But so often there'll be somebody that goes, no, I can't write. I don't want to share. And I'll say, fine, I respect that in that environment. But by the time the other people read what they wrote, that person realized because they're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm weird and crazy. So I don't want to share. And by the time they hear what everyone else says, they say, okay, yeah, I will tell you what I wrote. So,
That's so true.
and that's the way it works with the soul story too.
Yeah.
People doubt themselves, but then they realize what they have to share.
Yeah. Right. Right. We really need that more authentic reflection because, as I often say, we carry the wrong audience around in our head. And so when you get in front of your right audience, your what I call your tribe, and you see they're moved for real, just like you said, okay, they get new, it's like you get new data and it rewires those doubts.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, and it's the feedback and support. And then we have that wonderful treat of having some of them move on from the soul story to join us for the year. And and get to know them so much better.
Right.
It's really,
Right. Right.
really
Yeah.
great to be with the group.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We get definitely get inspired by each other. All right. So tell us a little bit about sort of your journaling story and how this has come to be such an area of profound work and leadership for you.
Okay, well, I had begun like a lot many years ago, decades ago now. A friend inspired me to start journaling, and I just started. It was an outlet for all my complaints, for all the things that were bothering me, which is not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing to get it out of you and onto the page. But there was one night, 3 o'clock in the morning, when all of a sudden I am so upset about this, and I've got to figure out my parents' finances, and I've got to worry about what's happening with my son at school, and I've. And I suddenly realized I'd switched to third person. It was saying you, and it was answering. Now, I don't know if you're going to call that channeling. I don't know if you're going to, I don't, it came from within me of my own wisdom being triggered. But I actually turned around in my chair and said, who are you? Who is writing this stuff? And that's what really put me on the path because I realized that was my personal key to discovering something deeper. For many people, it is journaling. For many people, there are so many other ways they are awakened to something deeper within them. And that is what really put me on the path to,
Would you say it's because what came to you was so profound and you hadn't had it come through to you in that way? Like did it because of
yeah.
course stopped you in your tracks kind of like
Oh, yeah, that was the first time. It just, I recognized a deeper wisdom I could access,
mhm.
and everything changed.
So how did everything change and how did you keep going with that? Like what did that do to for you? Like how did that change?
Well, I didn't feel like all these complaints were everything there was. You know, all there is all these complaints. It opened that door. Look, there's deeper. This is surface stuff,
Hmm.
but there's something deeper to you. There's something deeper in the world. And, that started a consistent journaling practice for me. It also opened the door to just reading the books I was discovering that reinforced that,
Hmm.
and communities I found that reinforced it.
Hmm.
So, and other ways of expressing myself or feeling it. Well, one of my major things and the thing I've developed is healing your not enoughs.
Hmm.
Stop feeling like you're not enough.
So say how did that help you do that?
By recognizing that deeper truth within me. That was the starting point. Uh, and I think most of us have gone through feeling like they're not enough from time to time.
Yeah, I call it
Or
the epidemic of unworthiness. Yeah.
well, I'm not smart enough, I'm not
Right.
educated enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not whatever. I don't have enough credentials. I'm not enough to do whatever it is I want to do. And yeah, we tend to look for a life's purpose with a capital P, the big purpose. And I think the big purpose is a wonderful thing. Some of us have it inborn, some of us discover it. And I think the way I started healing really was not necessarily discovering the big purpose, although I had some things like that. Like some of the work I'm doing now, I thought, I want to do this work. But by the same token, if it's not happening right in that moment, well, what else are you doing? Are you raising children? Are you caring for aging parents? Are you just smiling and sharing a kind word with somebody? That's a part of purpose too.
Hmm.
There are little things, so many little things we can do every day where we are doing good. I think it's often credited to John Lennon, but I heard it was earlier. But life is what happens while you're busy making other plans.
Right.
Well, you're making plans for this big purpose and you're moving toward it, but you need to acknowledge yourself every day.
Hmm. Hmm.
Maybe there's an old story that you probably heard about a man of great faith who was supposed to evacuate because of a flood that was coming, and he believed that God would save him, so he didn't let these people who helped him, who offered to help him, he didn't let them help him because he was waiting for God. But and the story is usually told with the idea of him not recognizing the God in other people, that the people are God's hands on earth. But the way I'm looking at it is those people who offered to do what they might have seen as a simple kindness. Hey, it looks like you're in trouble. Hop in our car, get in our boat. We'll get you up into our helicopter. All these things they offered to do. They may have been sitting there thinking, well, I'm not really making much progress on my big purpose. They might have been not feeling like that was a big deal. But that offer could have saved a life.
Hmm.
And you just never know what little thing you do that
Right.
makes a big difference. And I think recognizing those little things builds your confidence
Yeah.
and your sense of worth
Right.
and of being enough that will help you.
Right. Right. You have to recognize them though, because we're so quick to
Yeah.
recognize everything that's going wrong and to be hard on ourselves.
Mhm.
And so it really it requires a certain kind of pause, which is what this kind of journaling you're talking about does, to actually notice that stuff, right? Because
Uh,
otherwise we're like, yeah, that was nothing.
yeah. Well, that's part of healing. You're not enough is being aware
Yeah.
that you're doing a lot
Right.
on the side. Another example I heard, I think it was a man who, there was a show on some years ago called, I'm not remembering the name of the show, but it was about doing dirty work, dirty, jobs people don't want to do, cleaning sewers, things like that. And well, he was pointing out how he said these people were very happy because they found a real need. It was something that other people didn't want to do, and they brought their passion to it. It wasn't their original passion. And I think with these little things we do, bring your passion to whatever you're doing.
Right. Right.
Bring it to whatever, because this is a world where there are a lot of things we need to do. Bring your passion to it and recognize that,
Yeah. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
important it is.
Right.
Move,
Right.
move toward that big thing. Keep going.
Right. You're so right. Like the small thing, life is made up of big things are made up of small things
Yeah, yeah, there's steps.
in a way.
Mhm.
Um, all right. So take us through some of the other steps that you find are really helpful with the journaling that you're doing and the way you're creating, leading people through it.
Yeah, and I think one of the people on your leadership team before I was on the leadership team, I was working on a project to I think it was for an interview with you, and she said the words cross the bridge from chaos to calm. I will credit her with that because that's become a big thing for me. My example on that was well, even with my wisdom that I had gained, there was a crisis this one morning where there was a problem with the lease for my son's house. And boy, if that lease didn't go through, it would make a huge kerfuffle in my family. And I just lost it. It was a Friday morning. It was a Friday morning, and I knew I couldn't get an answer probably till Monday to the email because it wasn't a business day. I had the weekend, and I was yelling at God and the angels and going, "Come on, what am I going to do? This is awful." And I did not, I was not ready to meditate because they will say, "Okay, when you're upset, go meditate." That's great. I was too triggered.
Mhm.
And that's where I came up with that bridge because sometimes you are too upset about something. So I remember I just went and stood in the shower and just let the water run over me and down the drain. I was washing everything away. I went out for a donut with my husband. I took a walk around a little lake near us. What else? Oh, we went to buy fertilizer and I saw a little garden gnome was cute. So I bought it for myself, a little present. And I just did all these small things. I wanted a crocheting project. I found an organization that took handmade blankets and things for abused children and children who were in crisis. And, oh, well, I can crochet a little blanket. I did all these things, and by that calmed me down. That calmed me down. Then I was okay. Now I can meditate.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now I can reasonably journal. I didn't feel like journaling at the time, even though that's a big thing for me. I just, but so that's how you can create the bridge sometimes.
No,
If
it's
you're
such an
really,
important.
if you're really not there, you're not ready, you can do other things. I have a 3-page list that I came up with. I came up with many, and other women in InStory contributed. Like, what do you like to do? What are the little things you like to do just to calm down? So that's where you create the bridge. Oh,
Uh, it's so interesting because these things that you're saying are things that that seem so obvious, but that we completely lose track of if we
oh,
don't bring it into focus.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there are, bodhisattvas, perfect spiritual beings, and many of us are not that. We're on the path. We're not at that point.
Right.
And then I think when you are at that point where you can calm down, when you're ready, which can be most days, you can just sit down and meditate or do whatever else, whatever practice you have. But when you're ready, you can create that intentional time,
Right.
a
And
time just
I
to
think
be.
what helps also that you mentioned is having practices, meaning
Mhm,
having things that are regular enough so that when you get hit up the side of the head in one way or the other, you have strong enough practices and a
mhm,
range of them. Like you have easy practices, like go out and buy something, do something, make something
mhm,
before your harder practices of meditating or journaling. Like, for me, I'll go out in nature. You went for a walk around your lake. Like having practices that shift
mhm,
your energy is so smart. Because if you
mhm.
don't have them, then when you fall down, it's much harder to get back up.
Yeah. Oh, the walk in nature was very popular. Most everybody mentioned that when
Yeah.
I asked. But once you've gotten there, then you can take that intentional time to simply be with yourself
Yeah.
and be quiet. And that's what I refer to. The third thing I work on is soul space, where you create that soul space. And a lot of that is the practices that comes from your heart,
Mhm.
where you can really be there
Mhm.
in that. And yeah, you can let go of your egoic self and embody your soul self. And the practices are hugely important where that's concerned. Um, just creating a physical space in your home. Yeah, I am fortunate. We have what used to be a guest room. I don't remember the last time we had a guest in there, but that's kind of where I have my books. Well, my neighbor once asked me, "How many altars do you have in your house?" But I'll just have things where just groupings of still special things that are special to me. I've got the little gnome. I've got a giraffe. This is my giraffe. My giraffe's on the desk with me. And I also have candles, incense, whatever physical things, just external things that shift it for you and help you get into that zone. And
Mhm.
then you can just be there and you can learn so much about your own wisdom when you can be in that soul space where
Yeah,
you are communing with your soul.
yeah, I love that. So, all right. Well, I'd like people to be able to get in a little deeper with the work you do. So tell us a little bit about your free gift so that they can help move out of those stuck places and those not enoughs.
I will. And well, the final thing I talk about is wisdom's window, because when you really get in there, into that soul space, that's when you can look at the world through your wisdom's window.
Yeah.
Because things are in rapid transition right now. I've heard that from many sources that this is a time where we need to have that space to be calm. So I think the work I'm doing is very accessible. And it's not about becoming someone different. It's about returning to who you already are. And it's learning to live in that place. So my gift is a recorded meditation that it emphasizes the beauty of what you create, that you are an artist. And I'm not necessarily talking about writing and painting and dancing. And go do that by all means. But initially, I ran into a young woman who was looking at like The Artist's Way and some other books. It's just this is ridiculous. They're saying everybody's an artist, and I'm not an artist. And maybe you aren't creating or what people normally think of as art, but you are designing your life, and you have the power to make choices about what that life is going to be. So that is a part of what the meditation is about. And
Yeah.
there's also a journaling prompt that goes along with the meditation for you to use after you've done it. And I'll also include a PDF of the meditation if you'd like to just be able to print it out. If it's meaningful to you and you want to print it out and just have it somewhere where you can see it. Those are the things I will include.
Yeah. It's beautiful because it's really what you're saying is like being the artist of your life.
Yes.
And I think it's such a beautiful idea because people shut their creativity down because they aren't an artist with a capital A. But
Mm-hmm.
we're, like you said, we are all creative beings.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can tap into that, your own unique creative energy, then you get to create, be the artist, the creator of your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is your intentional direction of your uniqueness, right? It seems like that's part of what you're saying.
Yeah, we're making the choices every day.
Right.
Every choice we make is part of
Yeah.
that art of your life and what it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And just having a meditation that helps you into that space and then to journal it allows it to come into the front of your consciousness. Otherwise, we get pulled, just our attention gets pulled and we get on automatic and we lose that. So I just
Oh,
love how all of this work you're doing brings people back to that more centered, more aligned, intentional way of being in the world. And
yeah,
I think we're just being called to do this work.
absolutely. And we're all humans. We have our moments.
Right.
Not all perfection. It's not all perfection.
Right.
Having the tools you need to come back,
Yeah.
to where you have your wisdom in place.
Right. I
The
completely
hardest.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Leave us with a couple of last thoughts before we wrap up.
Mm. Well, I know there are beautiful people out there listening. listening to all of these things. I haven't listened to all of the other recordings yet, but I just wish for everyone to come and listen, continue listening, find the ones that really speak to you and follow, and find your communities, find your tribe and be with them. And I think you find the tribe by being willing to move out into the world. That's where you'll find the people you need. It'd be nice if you join us. But find those you need. Find who you need.
Yeah, yeah. So grab Kay's free gift, connect with her, trust your soul, the soul space you create so you can bring your wisdom out in the world. And as I always say, first of all, thank you, Kay. I just love what you're up to.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for joining. And as I always say in farewell, remember to go out in the world, share your story, live your purpose, and be a blessing. Bye, folks.
Bye.